Here we go, VTubers. I thought we'd have a go at this, you know. I've had a few days off from the Marklet because she does do what one might call one's head in completely, doesn't she? Oh, I think she does the whole nation's head in. I don't care what anybody says. I think she's, well, I do care what people say, obviously. But to my mind, she's some sort of construct. I think they've showed their hand with this Oh My God, Here We Go book. And it is really, like I said, and quite a few commentators have said, for quite some time now, that this is some sort of internecine warfare. Might be too harsh a word to use, but it's some sort of internecine sort of affair that is going on between people, both known and unknown, to bring down the royal family for whatever reason. I mean, there's probably 100 reasons, isn't there? And this is just the latest manifestation of it. Now, the other night I was watching the Sean Atwood channel with the great YouTuber Paula M. She's fantastic, Paula. Love Paula. I've watched her since she had a couple of thousand subs, you know, bless her. And she's really somebody now. She just don't hold back, does she? She don't hold back. No, she does. Oh dear, she don't pull her punches. Anyway, she was on there with Thomas Markle Jr. and the Royal, oh no, not the Royal Rogue, Meghan's Mole. Meghan's Mole, you've all heard of her, brilliant YouTuber. Now, it's probably something any of us could have found out, but Meghan's Mole is the one that follows it. Probably more than what most of us do, dears, but it's in her remit, isn't it? I think she got demonetised because of it. Anyway, last year, well, this year just gone in about May or June, they were putting it out and letting it be known, weren't they, that they were staying in Beverly Hills, yes, in Los Angeles. I think it was the Beverly Hills Plaza Hotel or something. They were staying in, or Harry was seen there, or they were both seen there. And she made sure she was packed, you know, like she does. And she made sure that she got her people to stop random members of the public, slip them a couple of dollars and go and make out that they wanted a selfie. Do you get me, capiche? So she's like, oh yeah, I'll give you a selfie. And she was selfied by a few, air quotes, members of the public going into this Beverly Hills hotel. Now, conversely, at the same time, Meghan's Mole, who literally doesn't miss a bleeding trick, bless her, noticed now, in retrospect, that at exactly the same time, Oh My God, Here We Go Scobie was in the Beverly Hills area uploading him doing this, that and the other onto Snapperjack, whatever it's called, Crackerjack, what is it, Instagram, that one, bleeding Mickey Mouse, or TikTok, one of them two. And look at me in the Beverly Hills, look at me, I'm here, look at me, I'm crossing the road, look at me, oh look, one of them sort of things. So it's Meghan's Mole that actually found this out and let it be known on the cyber airways, my dears. So I found that really interesting, because if what is, I can't see her saying it is bunkum, it does rather put them in the same place at the same time, doesn't it, my dears? And then what you have to factor in is the fact that, again, you know me, I like ferreting my snout around in the bleeding grubs, I do, and all the mud. And it appears that, oh my God, here we go, had what one might call an intimate relationship with Marcus Anderson. Now, we know Marcus Anderson. Yes, he's the man that would if he could, but he doesn't walk Meghan's side of the street, so she had to marry Barry. Do you get me, capiche? She's his grace and he's her will, isn't he? Oh, dear, I hope you know what I'm on about when I say that. Yeah, but not nearly as funny or as nice and sweet and cute as Will and Grace, if you get me. Quite actually gargoyle-ish, the pair of them, aren't they? So yeah, I mean, Marcus Anderson would be Mr. Markle, but you know, he don't walk that side of the road, does he, Des? No, but he does walk, Scobie's side of the road. So now we have what one might call a little quartet, a little coterie, haven't we? Yes, none of them know each other. He didn't. He sat on telly, oh my God, here we go, and he swore on his family that he did not see at any time Meghan Marklet. No, he didn't. Well, she probably sat in another room and Marcus Anderson gave him the paperwork. So with that in mind, let's move on, because I don't know about you, but I'm already bored. Come on, let's go. Come on, Jeremy Vile. Oh, this lady's still not had a baby. Darling, you shouldn't be working, my love. Oh, my days.
officials will
She's due to have a baby any
with
day.
aides to Prince William this week for critical talks in how to deal with those accusations of racism after the publication of Omid Scobie's book.
Here we go.
And that is, of course, Buckingham Palace rather than, the oil company.
Oh, sorry.
He's another pretentious little prick, this one, isn't he? Oh, BP. Yeah, down to earth Alex has had to, Alex, whatever her name is, had to point out that BP is the name of an oil company, dear. You know. We all know that your dad used to work for the Queen Mum and all that hooey, and that's why you are who you are, without which you'd probably be no better than you already are.
You call it BP, Buckingham Palace.
Yeah,
well, this comes...
Yeah, Buckingham Palace. We all say BP.
...by Tory MP Bob Seeley to strip the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Yes!
Titles referring to it as the nuclear option.
Yes, I'm punching the air as she speaks. Yes. Oh, hello. Oh, happy days when Jesus was. Oh, happy days.
Joining us this morning.
When's this going to happen?
Editor Sarah. Good morning, Sarah.
Oh, dear.
Do you think the palace will take legal action over this?
I hope so.
We know that Buckingham Palace don't want them to
Off to the tower.
Talks
Straight away.
this week, but the two households are coming together, senior aides to the King and the Prince of Wales, to discuss their options. Last week they were telling us all options are on the table, including,
Yes.
of course,
Tower of
legal
London.
action against
Legal
the
action.
publication of
And then the Tower of
these
London.
names. But I mean,
Yes.
Shaggy, it wasn't me springing to mind this morning, because we're getting another version of events.
Oh, yeah, we've got another load of BS, yeah.
For people just tuning in, sir, because he went, Scobie, on this morning and said, I have absolutely I've never written
he
this. I don't know
lies.
how it arrived in the Dutch. And then we had the two women from the publishing company that read through the script. They said we were given it. This morning the agent said, it's our fault, we said the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's quite a swift little thing because and I did sort of think of it, but I didn't quite get it as quickly as another pundit that said, I can't think who it was. Was it Kinsey? It might have been Kinsey. Kinsey, my dear. I think she heard it from someone who heard it from someone, you know? And I've heard it from someone who heard it from someone. And, if you actually expand on the theory, that the theory is that the what's it called? Don't know what they're called. The proofreading BS, right? Went to the publishers and they get translated into German, into French, into Dutch, into whatever. Afrikaans, Outer Mongolian, or whatever, okay? But the smallest market they had for translating, okay, I was joking about Outer Mongolia, they don't read that crap, do they? Got better things to do. But the smallest market in the Western world, let's say, Gerty, was Dutch. It was like 5,000 copies. So, if you stay with me on where I'm going on this crazy train ride, yeah, if you think that the translated proof of Endgame, Blamegame, whatever the bloody stupid book is called, say it was the French translation, well, that would be many more than 5,000, wouldn't it? What with France being a considerably bigger country, ditto Italy, ditto Spain, ditto most countries, apart from when you get to Dutchland, which only had 5,000 copies ready to be run. You see, my dears, and oh dear, they accidentally, completely on purpose, which wasn't their fault, it was his fault, printed the names of the King and the Princess of Wales as being racist, because, you know, what Meghan says is true. Everything that girl utters, even when she has a burp, is true. Okay? Everything is completely true and 100% true. She is, in fact, Mother Teresa, #/ Lady Diana the Great Late, or something that nobody gives a BS about. Anyway, so when the books in Netherlands, Dutchland, Denmark, right, was found to have the two erroneous names in, it was easy to pulp 5,000 copies. I was oh my God, I don't know how that happened. How did that happen? I really don't know how that happened. And then it came out on GB News on Friday, and I couldn't get round to it. I was too busy. I've got what's called a life. And but I did pick up on it. It came out on GB News that the Megmeisters and the Marklets, the two of them, through the Daily Telegraph, they seem to have quite intricate links with the Telegraph. I did know, but I can't remember now, so I'm not going to say. But they have got links to the Telegraph. And they came out on Friday and said, well, those two names, that wasn't the way we wanted people to know. We didn't want it to come out that way. So they didn't say, well, those aren't the two names. They just said, well, we didn't mean it to come out that way. Oh, so in that case, it makes it all hell of a sight better. Because, it was Friday, because Friday was when the Prince and Princess of Wales were seeing their counterparts in Sweden. The heir to the Swedish throne, like the Prince of Wales, but not Wales because it's Sweden, and his wife were over, and they were playing like the counterparts. They took them to the Royal Variety performance at the theatre in London. Is it the Theatre Royal? Is it the Palace Theatre, my dears? I do not know. Is it I don't know. I do know, but I can't think because my brain's gone foggy. The Royal Variety is brilliant. Absolutely, it used to be so good. Isn't nowadays? It's all bleeding woke and crap. But they went there. And at the same time, Charles was on his COP conference being racist. Do you remember the upload? Did you see him walking around racially, shaking hands with racist people? Honest to God, he had Major Johnny there with him with the cattle prod, just in case he got too racist. Do you know what I mean? Get him back in line quick. And a member of the press said to Charles, "How are you, sir?" And he said, "Oh, so, you know." And then I heard that he's had the doctor with him. His doctor has to travel with him at the moment, old Charles. Because I'm not talking out of school, but sometimes I do look at him and I think, you poor old bugger. Do you get me? Because sometimes he looks very swollen, his hands look very swollen, and people cruelly call him names. But, yeah, we didn't know the Queen was ill until she died. Do you get me? We were so surprised, what with her being 96? She was in such good health. You know, they can often have illnesses we don't know about them. We're not privy to know. But the fact that he's going somewhere and he's got a doctor with him everywhere he bloody well goes, you know. So, yeah, I think the poor old guy's suffering. So I think we should get behind him because it's either them or the only way is Montecito, isn't it, really? And I don't think any of us want to go to Hell's Bleeding Graveyard, do we? Monty shit show. So, yes, so we're going to listen to a bit more of what's going on. Yes, it's all happening, but as long as what we take from it is it isn't in any way Meghan's fault. Everybody in the royal family are a complete bunch of bar stewards. Yes, they are. They all work bars for a living. They're terrible people, you know, very lowbrow. I mean, almost like travellers, like gypsies, you know, my dear. But the Marklet, well, she's majestic, she's gracious, authentic, classy, all those things. She is. And when she was a girl, she struck out a blow for women. She did. She emancipated all the women across the globe. She did. Something about washing up liquid. But if you look at those manky little hands of hers, yes, didn't do her much good, did it, dear? No, it didn't. No stubby little fingers. Go on. Hang on.
Yeah,
stubby little fingers, all the better for going through your wallet, my dear. Fleecing you dry.
was reporting today that it was only Scobie's agent that apparently sent
this is the next thing.
Draft to the translators.
Yes.
Last week here on Breakfast, we were
it was the agent that gave the draft to the translators in Denmark. No other country. Was it Netherlands? Or Denmark? Holland, Netherlands, Denmark. It's a small country where they'd actually only ordered 5,000. I mean, they were being optimistic with 5,000, weren't they? I'd have thought they were being quite optimistic with 5, but there you go. You know, they're probably blowing smoke up Meghan's arse. Oh, yes, we'll have 5,000. Oh, dear, come on.
Talking to a Dutch translator who said it's such tight time frames. You often get earlier versions sent. You start working on those and then you update them. Is that what's happened? Saskia Peters, one of the translators involved, as you said, Jeremy, had said, "I never inserted the names. This isn't a translation error. I just translated what was in."
Notice how straight away they throw the little people under the bus, people like that. Not this lady, I mean Scobie. They're just reprehensibly vile people if they're prepared to throw a king under the bus. Yeah, who is he encompasses like 1,000 years of royalty, doesn't he? Is just there in Charles. Well, actually in George and all the rest of them, really. It took a lot of bedfellows it did to get where we are today, my dears. In other words, the DNA is full on rife. It is 100% kosher, you know. And, and to just throw him under the bus, they're going to throw a translator under the bus, don't give a stuff. As long as the Megmeister comes out on top, and she is Queen of the World, that's the main thing that happens. And that's all the good and all the better for humanity, my dears. Yes, it's a reptilian. Anyway, the other thing that's been mooted, which I also kind of agree with, she has been flirting with us. Well, not like that, but yeah, actually is like that. Not that we care. Making claims that she's going to write a book, like she can write a book. Do you know what I mean? She'll probably draw a stick man. When you say she'll write the book, she'll dictate it into a dictaphone and then somebody else will write it, but she'll take the credit. And then she'll be pissed off when she doesn't get a Pulitzer Prize for literature, my dear, you know, one of them things. But anyway, she's writing this here book about her life because we're all interested. I mean, is there any part of it that we don't yet know? Because we know she shits in bushes. We know all about her, don't we? Not much we don't know. Yes, we know, like, she likes to do all sorts of things in the back of station wagons. We do. She likes to give a BJ now and again. She doesn't care. She advertises poo spray. There's not a lot we don't know about this bin, is there? But she wants to write this book now. Obviously, the book is going to have the dirt, probably more dirt, and probably really pulped up. You know what I mean? Bulked up with her adjectives and more accusations of her life in the royal family, because she was royal for about 10 minutes, was it? 10 minutes she worked for them? Not sure. I mean, after 2,000 years, her stint was about 10 minutes, wasn't it? So, not 2,000 Gerts, that's Jesus, isn't it? 1,000 years of British royal history. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the Marklet was there for about 10 minutes. But out of that, she's going to get a worthy tome. And she's going to bulk it out with a load of old hooey. But I have heard, and I kind of agree with it, was it Kinsey again or somebody else that said, this Omid Scobie is probably laying the foundation for her book. So it's giving you the meat, but it's not giving you the gristle, if you know what I mean. Or it's giving you the gristle and she'll give you the meat. Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. Omid Scobie's book is going to give you the gristle, but her book, when it comes out next year, will give you the meat. It will give you the real deal, you know what I mean? It'll give you all the dirt and, well, all the grime and everything she's ever heard. And then Omid Scobie also said that he speaks to people close to the royal family. And I'm sorry, I've got to say it, but when he said that, I couldn't help but think, Eugenie, sorry to say it, but who's source close to the royal family? It's got to be Eugenie. He went over to see Beatrice, didn't they? After they were exhausted from marching around in front of the limbless veterans in Dusseldorf, that old thing the other month, was it September? She was marching around in her bleeding shorts, wasn't she? And then she was so exhausted, they had to go to Spain to spend time with Beatrice, because her husband owns a load of property out there. He's a property developer or something. So probably the Marklet was in there trying to get a freebie. And so when, but there again, I think it could be them, because my eyes tell me that. I mean, my brain tells me that. But Omid Scobie lies so much. I mean, sources near to the royal family, he ain't got no sources near to the royal family. Unless, of course, it's come via Harry and Meghan. And as I've already said, he used to date Marcus Anderson. So there you have a triumvirate. Well, you don't. You have a quartet, Gerty. Let's go on. It's all happening. It's all happening.
Will take place this week. I think the members of the royal family utterly dismayed, furious that they've been dragged into this.
Well, we're second-hand furious on their behalf. I think it's a piss take. And not only that, I live in Sussex. They've never been to Sussex. And when you get a duchy, the duchy actually comes with some nice little bit of money every year that's reaped off the back of the people that live in the duchy that you purport to represent. So where are they? Why are they being called the Duke and Duchess of Sussex when they never come here and don't have anything to do with the place? But I bet you anything they spend the bleeding cheque when it comes through. Made off for land rent, things like that.
Public domain now.
Because it's not a translation error. You can't there's no Dutch translation for the name Kate or Charles.
And Omid Scobie said, I never submitted a manuscript with those names.
No, but his agent
that
did.
Doesn't add up if it's the agent that submitted an earlier draft, because it was in an earlier draft.
But it's semantics.
It's semantics, exactly. But you caught him out on a lie. It's like anything. Once you catch him out on one lie, throws everything else into shade, doesn't it? Straight away. And it works in court every day of the week, and you don't need, in the court of public opinion, the Marklet and her little baldy bleeding cuck husband are as guilty as bleeding sin, aren't they? And not only that, let's go right back to the Prodopa interview when she said it was conversations and it was more than one person around the colour of her as yet unborn baby. She sat there up the duff, wasn't she, with bleeding Lily Invisibet, right? And then he comes in. Well, really, the interview, let's wind it back a bit. Her only cachet is the fact she's married to him. So the interview should have started with him and been about him with her tacked on, really. But it wasn't. It was all about her. Who is she? Who the flip is she? She's literally a cable bleeding useless bit of old thing that was written out. A poo spray and BJ's on 90120. And some other old Mickey Mouse and a bit of old porno that, yes, I have seen. Oh, my God. Listen, it weren't nothing worth watching, I can assure you. It was a load of bleeding hooey. It was her being a bleeding her. Yes, so, but who is she? So she set up this interview with Oprah. She said a load of staff chucked the royals under the buses saying they were having conversations around the colour of her baby's skin, potentially. Then he come out and it was before they were married. So they were having conversations around the potential skin of a baby as yet unconceived. That doesn't make sense. Maybe they were just talking about what it was going to be like to have a ginger-haired baby when she's sort of like white. I'm not sure what the conversation was about, really, to be honest. But, and then he came on and said, well, no, it was only one person. So how many people was it? Was there a queue of people? Was it one person? Was it two people? Was it before she had the baby? Was she pregnant? Weren't even conceived out of Barry's mouth. And then it wasn't racism, it was unconscious bias when he talked to that Tom Bradby, or whatever his bloody name is, Tom Bradby? Well, yeah, that's stupid. Oh, me, you can't see when he taps his neck and looks like a ripe plum. Yeah, that one. So, and now... Rewind, it's come out racist again. So we've gone right the way round in a big circle and come back to racist. And this time it's Kate that's a racist. Oh, Kate's a racist.
There's a big debate. I'm interested in you from a royal point of view. Nick and I have had our say. Is it time for the British royal family to come out and say, do you know what? You can do one, you two. This is absolutely wrong. Or... do one. Don't complain, keep quiet, carry on. What about Harry and Meghan?
I think, no, hang on. I think the state that our country's in at the moment and the absolute abject poverty that we have around Britain, and we do have abject poverty, massive social problems, horrendous social problems. And it's beginning, well, it isn't just beginning, it's been actually impacting on middle classes. And whenever you go through your history, whenever deprivation impacts on the middle classes, then you're going to get social change, you're going to get revolution, you're going to get, even if it's a revolution of thought or thinking or doing, you know, or actual actions. The deprivation and social conditions in this country are absolutely deplorable. And I think really that this is really dragging the royal family down, right, when they could actually be a real focal point for people to look at and to set an example. And they're just not. They're here, there and everywhere. They're like bleeding pinballs, aren't they, in a pinball machine, being bobbed here, there and everywhere. And nothing's really, they're not holding anything together. I mean, the Queen only had to come out on the balcony and raise her hand and wave it a little bit and everyone felt better. But at the moment, it's rudderless and everybody's, you know, we just feel like we're going down the bleeding pan and the Megmeister has pulled the plug. And it's all because I think this is my theory, I'm entitled to my theory, either she's a put-up job because she was heard on the new year of 2016 before she met him in the May, June / whenever it was she met him in 2016. So it was the Christmas 2015, the new year of 2015 when it turned into 2016. She was in Spain at the Soho House. She was overheard saying, next year I'm going to be the most famous, well-known woman in the whole world. And then the following year, she allegedly, the narrative will have you saying, the narrative will let it be known that she actually met Harry. Oh, just met him. I never knew him. I didn't Google him. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't care. Is he a nice bloke? Is he rich? Yes. All right. He's got a dick. Yes. I'm in. That didn't happen. I like that. I've pondered that because I heard that a year or so ago. I read it on somewhere. You know, when you're researching this whole thing. So that's what started to make me think, is she some sort of social construct? Is it a globalist takeover? Or is it a takedown of Charles or people that just don't want Charles and the rest of the Windsors? Or is it just her? Or is it that she's just a flaming great big narcissist and can't accept that he actually married Kate and he wasn't prepared to leave Kate and go out with her? Because I do know, in fairness, that when a narcissist sets their cap at somebody, a member of the opposite sex, or somebody they've got in there bleeding the crosshairs, you know, once they're in their crosshairs, that's it, you know. And it's going to go two ways. They're either going to capture you and ruin you, or if they don't catch you, they're going to ruin you. That is how narcissists roll. And obviously, Harry is a flying monkey, Omid Scobie, Marcus Anderson. And then who pulls their strings? I mean, where are they? It's just, I mean, it doesn't flesh out. Yeah, as I say, it was unconscious bias not long ago, and now it's, they're racist because they were talking about the skin of a baby that wasn't even conceived, who then came out and is white boy. And not only that, when that kid grows up, don't you feel sorry for him? Well, I mean, I feel sorry for him before he's grown up, to be honest. I feel sorry for him. I know what it's like having a narcissist as a parent. It is hell. It is literal hell. You don't live. You barely even exist. And when people say, well, this, that and the other, they don't, no, because there's no way they want people to see the child, because they are the centre stage, not the children. They don't want people going, oh, aren't they cute? Oh, aren't they sweet? Oh, doesn't she look like the Queen Elizabeth? Like, I've always thought that Princess Charlotte's mouth reminds me of the Queen's mouth, and the Queen's mouth always reminded me of Queen Mary, her granny. If you look at them, they've all got that same similar sort of Windsor mouth going on there. And she was related to George III through her mother, was the daughter of the Duke of Cambridge, who was one of George III's sons. So they're kind of all in the same mixing bowl, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about Queen Mary. And obviously Queen Mary gave birth to George, who married Elizabeth Bosley on and had the Queen, a great late Queen. And you can see that mouth go through from Charlotte to the Queen, to Queen Mary, you know. And Queen Mary's mum was called Big Mary because she was a big girl. I think she had a overactive thyroid or something. She had some sort of medical problem. And and she was similar, you know. And you can just tell that they're all related. And I think that's all the conversation was about. It was just about, I wonder if he's going to have ginger hair. I wonder if he's going to be a bit like a Spanish sort of suntan, because of Meghan's slight nod to being biracial. And it is only slight as well, because her mum's not 100%. Her mum's only 50%, if that. And I mean, she's not. I mean, her children are whiter than white. And I think the only reason we don't see them is because both of them cannot bear to be not the centre of attention. They wouldn't share one bit of the limelight with anybody. They can barely share it with each other, let alone some children. So that's where I am on this whole debacle. I thought I'd bring you slap bang up to date with Gertie's thoughts and musings on this complete catastrophe, because it's like a big car crash in slow-mo, isn't it, really? And apparently Buckingham Palace are having a meeting with the Prince of Wales's people. And I hope the Prince of Wales pulls some punches and says, I'm not putting up with it. I really do. The woman is an absolute bleeding menace. And it's not like they haven't got the money to get her the finest bleeding mental institution and have her banged up, is it really? Do you know what I mean? Why isn't she in the Priory? Why aren't they both in the bleeding Priory? People like that are sat around on our streets that have got substance abuse issues that then affects their mental health, and then they go off and affect everybody else's mental health. You know? Well, just put them in the Priory, be done with it. Or the Tower of London, either. I'm easy, you know. Anyway, with that, over and out. Bye-bye now.